welcome back here, trackside, to the Red Mile. And pleased to be joined here this afternoon. A beautiful Sunday out there by driver Andy Miller. Andy, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me. It's always great to come to the Red Mile.
Well, I know it's, I don't want to give away all of our production secrets here at the Red Mile, but this was set up about midnight at Buffalo Wild Wings, so short notice, and thanks again for coming in. Andy, you've been on the sidelines, unfortunately. You had an incident there at Yonkers back in the spring. You've been out now for close to 6 months. How's your recovery going, and how is it to watch the races from the sidelines?
It's tough. It's been a tough summer, but, I've been lucky that I didn't get hurt worse, and the recovery's going real good. I've been doing about 8 weeks of therapy, and it's going good. And I've been in the race bike and jog cart quite a bit, so just trying to get strengthened back up. I go back October 8th and get re-X-rayed, and hopefully they'll give me a clean bill of health where I can go back to work and back to racing. I'm sure I'll start out a little easier, but I'm excited to get back in the race bike and in a race.
Wow, well, that's coming up shortly then. So October 8th, assuming everything goes well.
Then after that, it's back to work.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. Talk to us about the barn a little bit, along with your wife, Julie. How many horses are you guys training now, and how many babies are you looking to pick up this fall?
We're training around 25 right now. Over the summer, we are up to almost 50, and as in the fall, we turn a lot out and turn a lot over. So we're looking forward to going to the yearling sales and stacking up maybe another 15 or 20 yearlings and do it again next year. So hopefully it works out that way.
And you guys have had a lot of trotting stars over the last few years. Talk to us about the top mare, 4-year-old Perfect Alliance. She set a couple of world records. Hasn't been in action here recently. When can we expect to see her back?
Hopefully she'll be back when I'm back, because that's kind of what we're pointing her for. And she's actually down here. She trained very good, and she had a super spring and was very good in Canada. And the trips to Canada, she was a little tired after that, so we give her about 6 weeks out and brought her back. And hopefully in about 2 weeks, she's back ready to go.
All right, well, we'll look forward to that. It would have been really cool to see her, of course, here at the Red Mile, but obviously a big stake schedule ahead, so we're all looking forward to a Perfect Alliance's return. We've got a fantastic 12-race card up this afternoon, Andy. We had 8 odds-on favorites last night. Now, we do look like we could have some heavy favorites here on this afternoon's card as well.
Yeah, I think it's a big day for the favorites, but it's a beautiful day out there, and to see some good racing and to really see some good horses today.
Well, very interested to get your thoughts on some of today's card. We're going to dive right into this afternoon's action, beginning with the opener. It's a late closing event here for the Pacers. Looks like you could probably narrow it down, in my opinion, at least to the 3 favorites here. That'd be the 3, 5, and 6. Which way did you opt to go in here?
I went with the 3 and the 6. I think the 3 is probably the one that'll be the favorite, and then the 6 underneath, I think he shows some good miles too.
Yeah, no question about that, and definitely the 2 likely favorites. On a chalk-filled afternoon, I opted to go with the 5, Providence. He comes off a big win here locally. He's been good on a big track every time, but again, it looks like it's going to be very tough to find a value in there. They look like 3 standouts in the opener. In the second race, we have another late closing event. This one for the 2-year-olds. A lot of green horses here, first-time starters, lightly raced colts. What was your opinion here in the second?
I think this is more of a race to bet, because there's not any standouts in here, and I think the 1 and the 4, Tony's horses, look good in here, and I think for a little bit of a price, I like the 7.
Yes, and that one for trainer Joe Holloway, who, of course, is off to a good start. What about the mile last night from Always Be Mickey?
That was amazing, and it just did it all on his own, and was just cruising at the wire, and should set up for a great race next week, maybe even a world record.
Yeah, well, we'd love to see that, and we've seen a lot of impressive performances here over the last 3 nights, but that one has to stand out. Race 2, I opted to go with the 4, Revenge Shark, one that you mentioned there, for trainer Tony Alagna. First-time starter. Thought the key there was driver Mike LaChance opted to the 4, Revenge Shark, over his stablemate there to the inside Pantheon Hanover. So we'll move along now to the third race on this afternoon's card. Trotting mares here, going another late closing event. Ma Cherie Hall going to be a heavy favorite.
Yeah, I think she's the class of this field and a big standout. So, but for second, I like the 1 and the 6. If something happens to Masherie Hall, they could pick up the pieces and maybe win this race.
She's typically done very well over this track. Had a win here, 52 and change last season. How about the? We'll start with the other 2 you mentioned there. The 6, Crazy Grigio, I assume is the pronunciation there. She's 3 for 3 this year, been on a tear since joining trainer Ron Berksbarn.
Yeah, she looks like she's pretty strong. Unfortunately, she's hooking up with a real strong one here. So if she could be there if something happens, and the other one's not quite on her game today.
Test for class. We'll have to see how that shakes out there in the third. Moving along now to the fourth race. This is another late closing event for the trotting mares. We have got a heavy favorite in here to the inside, Handover Bell. Certainly the class of the field with over $387,000 in the bank. Can we slay the dragon here, or are we just going to have to accept the short price?
I think we're going to have to accept the short price again. She was very good early and then tailed off a little bit and, has had some time off, but it looks like she qualified really good, and I think it'll be tough to beat her.
And really for the spot, it looks like it came up to be a pretty weak division. I thought class-wise probably the 7 Cena stood out even for a second. She comes off a big win there at Philadelphia, and she has shown going with some pretty good mares in the past.
She's shown times of going good miles and going with the decent horses. So, for second, I think she's got a shot.
All right, so we'll look into the fifth race now. This is the first stakes division on this afternoon's card. 3-year-old trotting fillies. We're going to have a heavy favorite in the 2 Lifetime Pursuit, who has ripped off 6 in a row since capturing the Hambletonian Oaks. Heaven's Door, though, has been a fringe player of the national stakes scene as well.
Yeah, she's been good. She won the Sire Stakes, Heaven's Door, but Lifetime Pursuit looks like it'll be tough to beat her. But I'm going to go with our horse, CBS. I think she's coming into a good mile, and hopefully she can pop up and be at least second to Lifetime Pursuit.
Well, I have her on the ticket as well. And talk to us about your guys' filly there. She made a break in the Hambletonian Oaks. What happened?
She just didn't get to the gate right, and she just run leaving. So we give her a little bit of time after that, and then brought her back and raced her at Freehold, and she was very good that day. So we're hoping for a good effort today.
All right, we'll look for that CBS. She really did well over this track last year. I know even in kindergarten action, and we'll look for a big effort from her today. $293,000 to change in the bank for her. Moving along to race 6. Now this kicks off the pick 4, $10,000 the guarantee. Believe we had somewhere near $19,000 in the pool last night, so it's really taking off here in the Grand Circuit portion of the meet. Really looks like a tough trio sitting here in race 6, Andy, from trainer Tony Alagna. Tactor's got a tough colt as well. What did you think here to kick off the pick 4?
I'm gonna go with Tactor's colt. I think Tony's 2 colts look very good too, and it's a tough pick here. So, but I went with Tactor's.
Well, he comes off a dominant win here at the Red Mile. Now he was in a weak field that night, but nonetheless. 54 and change under wraps, so it was a very easy effort. Brett Miller takes over the driving duties tonight. I actually was going to try my long shot of the day in the 6th race to kick off the pick 4 on a day that looks like we could have plenty of heavy favorites. The 2 Dreams Beach Boy arrives in from Canada off a good second-place finish. It's only his 4th lifetime start. Driver Scott Zeron was listed on the 4 Shades of Bay, who's going to be one of the favorites in there for Alagna. He took the longest Alagna price in there, the 2 Dreams Beach Boy. That tells me he might be the most talented of the trio, and I'm going to try him there to kick off the pick 4. We'll move on to the 7th race now. Pretty competitive group of trotters going to the post here. What was your opinion on the 7th?
I'm going to go with Herb's horse, Pine Credit. Hopefully he finds some of his back class here. He was very good last year, and hopefully he shows up here today, and because I know he's got a lot of speed and a pretty good horse.
And Irv seemed to be pretty high on his chances. Last night we caught up with him down in the paddock, and he thought he might really pick up on this track surface as well.
Yeah, I think he'll pick up quite a bit here.
All right, 7th race, the pretty wide open division there. And that's obviously the second leg of the pick 4 as well. Move on to the 8th race on the card. Now, this one not as wide open, I believe, in most folks' opinion. How about the 6 Nuncio? Never been worse than second, $1.2 million. Any other year, if he didn't have to face his stablemates, he'd be tons the best.
Yep, he's a very good horse, and if he didn't have to face Father Patrick, he'd have a lot of wins. So, he's been second all the time, and I think he's a standout here. And I like the Mr. Lindy and Datsuk underneath of him, but I think they're chasing a runaway winner.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I actually had it 6-1. Datsuk did actually rally past Father Patrick at a stake at Tioga.
Yeah, he's a very nice horse, and unfortunately he's had to chase the likes of Father Patrick and Nuncio, but he's had a good year, and he's always right there.
And the other one you mentioned there, Mr. Lindy on the inside, arrives into this afternoon undefeated 4 for 4, but obviously a major test for class here.
This is a big step up in class. You know, he's got a lot of confidence going into it, but it's a big step up in class.
All right, we'll see how that shakes out. We look to be on the same page there in the 8th. I went 6-1. So we'll move on to the 9th race. That will close out the Pick 4 action on this afternoon's card. Looks like we're probably going to have another favorite here to the outside, Tyrate Hanover. Do you see beating him in this spot?
I don't see him getting beat here. You know, if I was picking somebody to go by him, I might pick the 3, Genius at Work. But I think he'll be the favorite and probably be the winner.
Yeah, probably going to be odds on there. He's won 16 of 42 starts. He arrives into this afternoon back-to-back wins against Open Company, and quite honestly, the division did not come up all that tough. So that's Tyrate Hanover in the 9th. Move along now, Andy, to the 10th race, and if we haven't picked enough chalk already, how about
we're picking chalk again, and we have to here. I think he's head and shoulders above this field, and you know, you just can't say enough of good things about Father Patrick. You know, unfortunately, he made the break in the Hambo, but other than that, he's been unbelievable.
And if we're conceding the fact, obviously, that he is tons the best in race 10, it is a beautiful afternoon, perfect conditions. The track has been playing very fast. Any potential at a world record this afternoon?
If he had maybe Nuncio or somebody like that in with him, I think there'd be a big chance at a world record. But you know, this would be a spot to try for a world record because you know, I think he's all on his own. So if he wants to go for a world record, it's not like he could falter and get beat here. I don't think so.
As a driver, in your mind, when you go out there on a horse obviously as talented as the likes Father Patrick, do things like that cross your mind? Are you looking maybe at the clock to set potential world records? You just go out there and race him, and whatever happens, happens.
Well, most of the time you just go out there and race him, and what happens, happens. And you want to save some for the rest of the year, and I think that's what they'll do today. They're wanting to race next week and save him for the Breeders' Crown and everything too. So, you know, you're not going to get a much better day than today to set a world record, but you also want to save your horse for the rest of the year.
And next week could be very interesting. Of course, the Kentucky Futurity, Father Patrick, going to be in there against a big field probably. His stablemate Nuncio could set him up. So if we get some ideal conditions, next week might be a big shot as well.
Yeah, it could be a very big shot next week. You know, and hopefully the two of them match up and make an interesting race.
All right, we'll move along now to race 11. Another bluegrass split here for the 3-year-old trotting fillies. Attacked her with another favorite here, Shake It Carrie. Everyone continues to talk about how she was a freshman standout, but she's had a heck of a year. Here's a 3-year-old as well, already $579,000 in the bank. Loves to win 17 of 22.
Yeah, I can't see him beating her. She's so tough and just a super filly because she can leave the gate 100 and rate easy fractions and then sprint home too, so it'll be tough to beat her.
And talk to us about the one Take the Money. This is a filly you guys had in your barn earlier this summer. She has some big speed when she minds her manners, some braking problems. Do you think she is the type of filly that could go with this level?
I think she can go at this level. She was actually third in the Hamiltonian Oaks and was very good there, trotted 51 apiece, and then took a little bit out of her. And you know, she's a little bit frail, but I think she's probably back on her game now, and she could upset Shake It Carrie if something happens.
7 wins in 14 starts this season. She's no stranger to the winner's circle herself.
She loves to win and had a very good season. Was first or second almost every start.
All right, and finally, Andy, we'll flip over to take a look at the 12th race finale. Of course, the 20-cent Super High Five comes up in this one. But, again, the theme of the afternoon, we've got some short prizes here. The 2 odds on Aculius, 3 Ellis Park. Can you see getting past the 2 favorites here?
I don't see anybody beating those 2. And odds on Aculius is, you know, he's a very good horse and can sprint home a ton. So I don't see him beating him.
All right, we'll look for that. I like odds on Aculius as well, and really I'm going to chalk completely out of the finale, like Ellis Park second. And Pardew Hanover has been on a pretty good roll there on the East Coast for the Cancellaries, and Yannick takes over the driving duties this afternoon. He's been pretty sharp as well.
Yeah, he's been very sharp, and you know, if he steps up just a little bit more, he could maybe sprint by him in the lane. But it'll be an interesting race, and it'll be a fun day.
Andy, it really will. It's a fantastic day. We've got a ton of great horses in, as we have all week long. And the best news, we've got another week to go here. Thank you so much for coming in with us. We hope you'll join us again for an afternoon next week.
I'd love to. Thanks for having me, and it's been a fun time here.
And we're all looking forward to seeing you back in the bike. Best of luck with your recovery and moving forward on the season. That's the story from downstairs. Good luck with all of your selections while you're with us here this afternoon. Horses for the first race will be on the track in just a couple of moments.